All right. So these podcasts are mostly just to kind of give people an idea of kind of why you started your business, like get to know the personalities behind the business, and kind of like if people were to start like similar businesses to yours,
Hmm.
maybe like advice you'd give people and all that kind of stuff. So it's not
Okay.
really like any like it's like an LC Valley business podcast, but not like
Hmm.
any like technical business stuff. Just kind of like like what you do well in your business, what kind of hardships you have, and kind of like how you overcame some of those, like what makes you proud about your business, all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
it's not like what's your ROI on your on your drinks and that kind of
Yeah.
thing, and yeah. Um, I guess we'll start off. How long have you been in business?
So my wife and I started um, almost 7 years ago in North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and we have the same shops there. We have seven in our organization there, and we decided to move across the country,
Mm-hmm.
closer to her family, because we've got our two young sons, and we've got another on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, wanted to get the family closer together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, this is a pretty good place to raise a family, I think.
I think so
Yeah.
too. Yeah, we've been enjoying it.
So her family's from the LC Valley area, or just Northwest in general?
Northwest in general. So they lived in Billings, Montana.
Mm-hmm.
My father-in-law was with Pacific Steel and Recycling.
Mm-hmm.
So he took the branch manager position over there, and we were gonna expand to Tennessee, kind of stay closer to where we've built our business.
Mm-hmm.
And when they found that out, they were like, this area is really nice. You should come check it out. So
Mm-hmm.
we took the trip, and I think I'm a little impulsive, and
Yeah.
I love the area. I've been in North Carolina, South Carolina, Arkansas, that part of the U.S. my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So this place was gorgeous. Um, I know it's not a huge town, but there's a fair population in a small area. So I was like,
Right.
let's give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, and how you liking it so far?
man, we really love it.
Yeah.
We do. You guys got an incredible community.
Mm-hmm.
We've met some amazing people. Super safe place for the children. We live on Quail Ridge Golf Course over there,
Oh yeah.
and
My grandpa lives up there as well.
dude, it's so beautiful. And there's not many neighborhoods around where I was at where kids can, like, we don't let them walk down the road or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
cruise around on the golf cart, ride bicycles, and you feel safe.
Right.
So it's a really, really cool thing about this
Nice.
place.
Are you still operating the other businesses back east,
They're
or?
still in operation.
Oh man,
Yeah.
how do you manage that?
So we're in a leadership role. We have operators at each of the locations that personally own those businesses.
Mm-hmm.
We act as like a business coach for them, basically.
Oh gotcha.
And then we make a royalty on the gross sales of that business. So we're able to, we're still got skin in the game,
Mm-hmm.
so to say. And yeah, we just have weekly calls with them. It's a lot more complex than I thought it was going to be.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, I'll do this, this, this. Everything's going to be great.
Yeah.
Flew out here, got started, and it requires a lot more hands-on than I would have imagined. So we fly back pretty frequently.
Yeah. It's always about twice as complicated as you picture it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And well, how's the store in town doing?
It's doing great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so moving from North Carolina, where I'm from. I was a local there. Coming from out of state. In most communities, there's going to be, if anybody's thinking about opening up a business in somewhere where they're not from, there's going to be a period of time, like, it was astronomically busy when we first opened up, and I see that a lot with businesses around
Oh
here.
yeah. It's a new exciting thing sort of deal. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, businesses will. A lot of times, people can get kind of down on themselves if that doesn't persist. After the initial burst of people, sometimes it can slow down pretty significantly for a
Right.
little while. And I always urge people to keep pushing and not focus so much. I know that you got to make a living, and the numbers are important. But if all we're focusing on is the numbers, you're going to push people out of the door. They're going to feel
Yeah.
that energy when they come in, that you care more about the dollars than you care about them.
Correct. Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's kind of, yeah, you put the vibe that you want to move this product to the people that you would think would care about it, and you kind of create a community around it, then that's kind of where your core business kind of grows out to. So what do you think your core following would be, or who do you think would appreciate your guys' product?
It's interesting because when I talk to most people, I'm like, oh man, you're right beside the gym. That's great. And so the thing is we attract a majority of your just everyday people. Because my job, what we're here to do, is provide a healthy product that tastes good, that's fast, easy, healthy fast food.
Right.
A lot of people that are already super fit, they've got it figured out. They've got their meal plan done. They've got their protein at the house, and
Right.
they're on with their day. We do get them, and they come in for their occasional shake or refresher. But I would say our core community is just your average person that's on the way to work. They want to make better choices. They want to feel better. They want to have more energy, and that's who we love to work with.
Yeah. Well, that's probably where I would start stopping by a lot more, because I recently stopped drinking as many Red Bulls, and yeah, just I feel like they weren't doing anything for me after a while anyways, and so I was like, might as well cut them out. I think the only thing I liked is that it just wasn't just water. So I just been drinking black coffee and water
Yeah.
lately, but I kind of miss something like this, where it just has more flavor and maybe not as much sugar and crazy like cocktails of who knows what in it, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So kind of what are your main products that you guys do make in house?
So we've got full meal replacement shakes, smoothies, power bowls. They're like acai bowls,
Yeah.
70% less sugar than your average acai bowl. Protein waffles that are full meal replacements. And what I mean by that is a minimum of 24 grams plant-based protein with options to go with whey if they would like. Plant-based protein just is better for a meal replacement because it keeps you fuller longer.
Oh, I got you.
Just treat your body different. And then we have our energy refreshers, super popular. They're made with green and black tea, vitamin B, nature's raw guarana, and we put aloe vera in all our drinks. So it's a different energy source than a lot of people are used to. I know Lotus is a big thing here. Back east, we didn't have Lotus. We didn't even have all these drive-through coffee shops. That's not too much of a thing out there.
It might be a unique thing to the area, really.
I think it is.
I every time I travel, I expect them to be around. They're just not.
Yeah, they're really not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got our Starbucks and we've got stuff like that. It's probably got to do a lot with, Pacific Northwest is winter. Nobody really likes to get out of the car a whole lot,
Right.
Unless you really have to. But yeah, so it's a different source of energy. You get all day energy without the crash. I know I personally used to drink Monsters every single day.
Right.
At least 3,
Yeah.
before I found this.
And then you start feeling like crap after.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like a spike crash. And before long, it wasn't even really a spike,
Right. That's what I was finding with Red Bull. I was drinking it mainly for, I don't know, I enjoyed the carbonation. I did the sugar-free stuff, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. After a while, it just doesn't do anything for you, and I don't know, you kind of feel like crap after having a couple of them or something.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how you started in on this? Like
100%.
making your own stuff, or? Yeah.
So my wife actually, she was 22 years old. She moved from Montana to North Carolina to a place called Holly Springs there with a mentor of ours from California who taught us this model. And I just started out as a customer. I walked in. I loved the community. I loved the vibe in there. I had been searching for some sort of meal replacement. I was 268 pounds. And in my mind, I was getting healthier, but I was just like hit a plateau and I couldn't figure it out,
Right.
I had a birthday cake flavored protein shake meal replacement, and it blew my mind. It's like there's no possible way this is good for me, first off, and there's no possible way this can help me lose weight. It tastes like a milkshake,
Right.
And so I kind of started off as a challenge. I believed them, but I had been trying so much. I was getting up every day, working out, doing all this different stuff, and it just wasn't cutting it for me. And I think a majority of the reason is it's very easy for people to jump on different trends that might not be so sustainable for the average person. There's like a small percentage of people who can do restrictive diet successfully long term.
Right.
Usually it's like I can restrict myself for a few months maybe if I'm lucky, and then I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
Bad day or whatever. So insert things that I actually enjoyed, and it changed my whole life,
Right.
And I met my wife,
That's not so bad.
Yes. Yeah. Got
Yeah.
super lucky with that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy where the fad diets people might do for 4 or 5 months, then they go on vacation, come back, and then they just don't even remember to get back on it or something like that. That's where I always get caught up is vacations, because you always splurge and then you come back and you don't realize you don't get back on your diet. But yes, as I got older, I kind of realized that just eat stuff that's healthy that you do enjoy, and then it's not so bad.
Exactly.
You don't even really notice like the things you miss, like the chips with all the the bad oils and all the bad ingredients they put in everything.
Yeah.
But I kind of see that as something that would get people interested in stopping by. And so meal replacement, that do you see more of that for like breakfast and stuff like that, or is it later in the day you find people coming by?
I would say majority of our people are breakfast and lunch. We are core at our core. One of our core values is our family. So my wife and I, especially early on in our business, we only schedule hours that we're willing to work every single day. Except for Sundays, we're closed. So we're open 7 to 4, and we have breakfast, lunch, rushes. And it's just a super easy way to stop in. At first, especially men, they're like, I don't know that this is going to fill me up.
Right.
Right. But what happens is your body is recognizing the nutrition inside of what you're consuming and the protein, and it helps you stay full. And we, in our philosophy, we believe that people should eat small portions several times a day. So every few hours, consume something that's good for you. So they're designed to last from 3 to 5 hours, depending on the person. And very, very satisfying, surprisingly. Yeah.
Nice. And the acai bowls, do those carry over in the fridge pretty well? So where, like, if you bought a meal replacement shake in the morning, you could like throw it in your mini fridge at work and then eat that later and stuff like that?
Yes, you could. I would almost even like keep it in the freezer for a little while.
Yeah.
Possibly. Definitely not overnight because it'll freeze solid. But I've heard of people putting them in the fridge until lunch and then being fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was there a specific point when you decided that this is kind of what I want to do for a living? What kind of made that happen?
So I've been an entrepreneur since it was just in me. I've always been an entrepreneur. Even when I was in school, I would just find different things that I could do to buy and make a profit.
Right.
And my very first brick and mortar business, my first business was with my dad. We had like storage locker auctions. We'd go buy storage lockers, and we had a warehouse, and we'd sell all this stuff. And I lost my father. Let's see, 9 years ago, 9 years ago, actually tomorrow. And when that happened, I just couldn't do that business anymore. Him and I enjoyed together. And after that, I opened up a vapor shop in North Carolina. I was 22 years old and didn't know anything, and I was super hard-headed.
Yeah.
And that's another little nugget for people is kind of like, yes, it's your own business, you call the shots, but I was too hard-headed to really learn from other people,
Yeah.
And even so, I couldn't even afford to pay a business coach or anything like that, so didn't really know my resources. And about a year and a half in, Department of Revenue in North Carolina comes knocking on my door, like, you got 10 days to pay X amount of money, and I couldn't pay it. It's like tried to pay an attorney, tried to do all these things to help me out. 10 days later, they came in with a locksmith, shut me down,
Oh man,
auctioned off everything. Yeah.
crazy.
Yep. So I was kind of in a weird space for a while. I didn't know what I was gonna do because I just like everything disappeared.
Hmm.
And I walked into that place when I had a foster daughter at the time. I was taking her fishing at a lake out there in North Carolina.
Hmm.
And I walked into the place and I'm like, man, I would love to be involved with something like this. The decisions that went through my mind, it was like, first off, I love community.
Hmm.
Even though I had a vape shop, I had a really strong community built in there. Um, I love the idea that if this is what I do for a living, I have to stay at least generally healthy. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
it's just going to be built into my career. So that's another plus. And then this was before I even met my wife. They had like some pictures on the wall of people that got health results using the products. And I was like, and I get to work with people like that. And I,
Hmm.
I was, I literally was looking at my wife on the wall, didn't meet her yet. And I think from day one when I walked in there, I was like, if I can be involved in this, is what I want to do.
Hmm.
And a big part of our business is expanding and showing other people how to become entrepreneurs and open shops like this. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So when I showed as much interest, they were like, let me show you what we can do.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
It's
And
kind
then
of
that was it.
it's kind of interesting when you show interest like that. People also like it's kind of intoxicating. Like people kind of flock to it.
Hmm.
They kind of like it. It makes them think that it's also a thing they can do.
Hmm.
So yeah, I understand that. So the community around here, how has that been going? Building that around the brand that you've had back east. How's that transferred over?
I can tell you that most things, like you said, are 2 times harder. I
Mm-hmm.
think that this would probably be 10 times harder.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because when we built our foundation in North Carolina, and the strong base there, still strong base, growing like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We're going back. I'm going back Monday or Tuesday for a week, and the new shop's opening up out there. Help them get launched,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have kids yet. It's my wife and I. We were
Mm-hmm.
living in a camper, like 2 miles away from our first store. Just doing all we could to build the community. And coming out here we had one son when we moved here, second son pretty quickly after that. Now we're pregnant again.
Mm-hmm.
Maneuvering around that and learning how to do that has been a lot more challenging than we thought.
Yeah.
So what we've done is I know I always teach my people in order to be a part of the community, you got to become a part of the community.
Right.
Find things that you're passionate about, provide service, host events at your place that attract people and they enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So very passionate about grieving children. I lost my father, stepfather, lots of people. So I'm on the board of Willow Center here in town for grieving children. It's a huge resource.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who have not heard of the Willow Center, I highly recommend checking it out, even just to tell people that are going through things. Also, Kiwanis, that's also for kids. Just put up a fishing shed over there at Kiwanis Park.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so kids can get free fishing gear over there.
That's pretty awesome.
Kind of rent it for free, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They got to return it, but
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, so doing things like that has been very helpful. We hosted game nights at our shop for a good long time.
Mm-hmm.
Recently took a break. We travel a lot during the summer. But yeah, it's been different, but I've enjoyed the process because I've always loved challenges and I've loved trying to overcome different things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's been fascinating.
So, what are some of the difficulties that you faced at the first shop that are different than the new shop over here?
I can say North Carolina, there is a lot of shops that are very similar there.
Mm-hmm.
Like probably 800 to 1,000. It's a
Mm-hmm.
pretty big state, or at least heavily concentrated state. So there were shops that were similar that did not provide a good service, did not provide a good product, and we kind of had to overcome the bad taste in the community's mind.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest biggest thing we had to overcome there, getting people in the door, having them try our stuff, experience our community. And then here, zero and nothing like it, you know. So very taboo. And the process is kind of like go from taboo to enjoyed to loved, you know.
Right.
And then once you get to the loved part, that's when you can really start expanding and stuff. By the time we were 2 years old in business in North Carolina, we had already expanded into 4 or 5 other locations. So it's been a little slower here. But I think that I'm a believer, and I believe God has kind of put us in different places for certain reasons. And yeah, so I think that that would be a major difference. And another thing would be we were, like I said, we were young in business. We had very little resources. And we're a lot more experienced now in different ways, more financially, not just healthy, but mindful of our finances a lot better than we were back then, and been able to carry those skills into this newest venture.
Yeah. So when you say that it was a little bit taboo, do you mean people are a little apprehensive with moving from something like a Monster and Red Bull over to something like this? What kind of methods did you get people to sway over to this lane?
So I'm super passionate about marketing. I teach a lot of marketing, and it's one of my side things. But I believe, so a few things that we've done. We're super good on social media, right? Paid ads, but paid ads aren't really necessary in the beginning. Really just making sure that you are in the same place as other people are in social media, letting them know who you are and what you do. And as you said, like this podcast is so they can get to know the personalities behind the business. Right. A lot of businesses go in and they're like, look what I've got, look what I've got, look what I've got. And in the beginning, we went with like, we do have this, but this is who we are. This is why we've decided to come here. This is what we see for the future here. And kind of help the community get to know us a little bit before we even opened, you know. I think we started our pre-open plan 2 months before we opened up in a temporary location. And that was one thing. Another thing is we're big on like giving away free drinks to, like we took well over 100 to several different elementary schools and different schools in the area, like half versions. So that they could taste it and feel the energy difference from what they usually do. Hand out cards face-to-face all the time. A lot of networking. And to get to keep business that you have, that is all done inside of your building, you know.
Right.
To get new business, you've got to get out.
Yeah.
Get outside of the business. Go meet people. Market in various different ways. And
events and stuff like that, charities, all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
Gotta get out of there, because I mean, it's hard to add new business.
Yeah. Because if you just get back and you want to kick back and let people roll through the door, I would recommend like maybe a franchise that's already done a lot of that work for them, maybe. But 90%, like I believe that the reasons why so many small businesses close pretty quickly after they open, one, they don't wait long enough. They don't give it long enough, right? They get that initial burst, they get through the tough times, and they get overwhelmed by it, and they're like, clearly this isn't working. People don't want my stuff. I'm gone. You know, I can't afford this. And then number 2, I would believe, is lack of knowledge first, and then lack of effort second. It's like I've always got to study new marketing techniques, new marketing softwares. I've got to stay on the cutting edge if I want to continue to grow.
Right.
You know, so it's a lot more than the product or service that someone's going to offer. It's what you're willing to do to show people who you are and why you're different.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and it's getting easier and harder at the same time to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, overwhelmingly, like it's like so many different options out there and so many different gurus that you can pay $10,000 to, and they're going to tell you all the secrets.
Yeah.
You know, and and I can say that I've paid a couple of them. And I kind of first one I was like pretty bummed out, but now if I go into a situation like that, it's like I'm after the information. I'm not after what they're promising, you know, because people can promise the world, and really it's about the application after the fact.
Right.
So,
And a lot of it, a lot of those type of characters, I feel like 99.9 of the stuff they say is throwaway, but it might be that one nugget that just like sparks an idea in your head that you're like, oh, this could actually really work for me. Yeah. Yeah, and I get that a lot from just talking to other people that do business, and kind of like, because everyone's got like just one weird little tidbit that they did differently than everyone else, and it's kind of weird. And even if you think, hey, how is this business making any money? It's, well, they're doing something that someone else isn't. Even if it's a weird business idea that doesn't make any sense to you, all kinds of stuff like that, where it's just, oh, I see that person's just a little different. You know, they made it work because they had an idea, they stuck with it, and they're doing something I don't understand.
yeah.
So back to kind of your products. What would this do for you differently, energy based, than like say a Monster or Red Bull?
First off, it's a lot more hydrating than a Monster or Red Bull, so your body's going to benefit from that. The different things that we put in there for energy sources have their own benefits, like antioxidants and all the different benefits you get from B12 and several of the B vitamins. And each one kind of tries to do something different in your body. So the Nature's Raw Guarana is really good for focus. The green and black tea is a metabolism booster, so it kind of helps you burn calories as you drink it, as well as more, I guess, of the energy feeling rather than the focus. The aloe vera actually helps you absorb all the nutrition. Yeah, a lot of people pair this like a combo. They have their shake and their refresher, so it helps them get the most out of the shake that they're drinking, as well as absorb the energy assets better.
Right.
So those benefits, not to mention, I'd say like our refreshers have less than half a gram of sugar in them, so that's a big win right there.
Right.
And yeah, you don't have to drink them, like you wouldn't have to drink 3 of these in a day.
Yeah.
Or most of the time, not even 2 in a day. Very rarely, I will have 2 a day because, the kids, the other night we had, you know how kids are, man. It's like,
Oh yes. Yeah.
some nights they sleep great, other nights, not at all. So, yeah.
I think my son did. He took like 10 months to finally sleep through the night.
Yeah.
I got so used to waking up multiple times a night, and then by the time the first night he slept through the night like completely, I woke up in a panic, and I also felt I didn't drink that night, but I felt like really hungover.
Yeah.
I just wasn't used to sleep. It was a pretty strange feeling.
Yeah, I
So,
get that.
Yeah.
That's exactly how my first son was.
Yeah.
Exactly. Second, he's like the polar opposite. He'll sleep all night most of the time. At least I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe my wife gets up with him, but yeah, it's like they're just so drastically different. It's really neat.
Yeah. Yeah, my older son, he's kind of hyper emotional and gets angry and all this kind of stuff. My younger son, he's easiest kid on the planet.
You're the first that I've talked to that's had that same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, usually it's a second that's crazy. I'm like, no, it's our first.
Yeah, I'm the second kid, and I was the crazy one probably.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So doing business with kids, just another layer of the hectic life. How do you steer around that obstacle?
So I try to involve them as much as we can. So when we, both of our kids spent a good year with us, like riding in carriers while mixing drinks or, until they started getting into everything.
Right.
Now they both go to daycare, but anytime we have any community events, they're there. We try to incorporate them as much as possible. Since we do have another business and we have the businesses in North Carolina, we do have to do a lot of work when we get home. So it's very important I've learned through not doing it correctly
Yeah.
to take a good chunk of time. Like, this is dedicated for the family, because especially my oldest son, he needs attention, and if he doesn't get it, it's either good or bad attention. He's getting one of them.
Yeah.
You know, so really just keeping it in the forefront of my mind. As I said, it's a huge important to us, our family. Remembering that, you know, because if my family falls apart in the process, this isn't for anything.
Right.
You know, that's number one. So just really dedicating, remembering that I'm a man of God and I'm a father, and keeping that as a priority. And then amazingly, when I keep those things as a priority, the rest of the stuff works out great. You know, when I'm trying too hard and I'm like pushing my family away because I'm like trying to work through stuff, it's like the problem just persists and persists. You know, so just really keeping those priorities in order has really been helpful.
Right. Yeah, and another thing with kids, I feel like it's easy when you kind of have a little more control on everything to kind of show them like a little bit of the process, like stress importance of things and that kind of stuff. When you have kind of your own business and you kind of have to show them like, this is what I'm responsible for, even as I come home, and to set that time aside for them also shows them, you know, like, you guys are important too, and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's on a good point. It's like there's several times when we do have Zoom calls with our people back east, and it's like we have a conversation with our son. It's like, look, what we're doing here, our work, is so that we can have the life that we want, you know, that we're driving for, and so that you can enjoy these things. And I love to be able to teach that responsibility to them, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it progresses as they get older. Because right now he's going to be 4 in September, and then our youngest right now is 15 months. So they're still really early on, but they watch everything we do.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like my oldest son wants to do everything that we're doing, and then my youngest son wants to do everything his brother's doing. So it's neat to see the different things they do during their fun time that kind of mimic what we do with our business.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and yeah, my son is 7, and one of the things that I learned to kind of stress while he's in trouble or anything is to stress the importance of why and why it's important to look at it in a specific way, and that's helped him kind of understand, like, you know, why do you go to work? You know, why does he got to go to school? You know, kind of why responsibilities matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it kind of reiterates it to yourself while you're saying it to them as well.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. So what are your future plans? Are you planning on opening up more shops in the Northwest? Any locations you got your eye on or anything like that?
Absolutely. So here was my plan when I first moved here. 12 months, 3 locations. That was my plan.
Oh man.
Yeah. And of
Twice
course that
as
didn't
hard,
happen. Yeah. So we'd love this was the plan, was Lewiston, Moscow, Coeur d'Alene. You know, my brother and sister-in-law with their 3 kids are out in Coeur d'Alene. We love that area. But that's definitely changed over the past couple years. Right now, since the traffic patterns are what they are here, like people that live or work downtown or over in Clarkston are very rarely going across Bryden unless they absolutely have to, and it's not on a daily basis. So we'd love to see uptown, downtown, and midtown in that order in Lewiston, unless something pops up differently. And depending on, I really, I've heard mixed things about business in Clarkston. I don't know. I've never done business in Washington. So kind of really analyzing what that would take. And I'd like to see a couple over in Clarkston eventually. And then throughout that, keeping my eye out in Moscow and Pullman. Spaces are kind of hard to come by out there,
Right,
I've found. I've been in negotiations 3 times out there. Every single one of them fell through, you know, for one reason or another. And surprisingly, Coeur d'Alene is very comparable in cost. Um, so who knows, man?
Mm-hmm.
It's God's plan. We definitely want to expand, and we want to continue offering this healthy, sustainable option to people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's just kind of like where God leads us.
Yeah.
And also, we have to continue business in North Carolina. Big dream
Yeah.
is kind of like swapping quarters, like 3 months here, 3 months there.
Mm-hmm.
My whole family's there,
Yeah.
grandparents, all that. So,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
kind of important to stay in contact with everybody as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the older you get, it's like, at least for me, I was the first grandkid, first of my mother's kids, of course. And I was super rebellious. And family wasn't so valuable to me when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But the older I get, it's like so valuable, man. Especially
Right.
after you lose a couple people, it's like as much time as you can get with those, with your grandparents and parents, just family in general. I try to put priority on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I work with family a lot, so I'm around them maybe too much, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah. So kind of similar to what you're saying about being on Bryden in Lewiston. Everyone's got their own route
Hmm.
in Lewiston. Um, I don't know if it's just because of the hills and how the roads work, or with groundwork and just people that miss all our marketing, they miss everything, and then like between social media, the billboards,
Hmm.
all the kind of effort we put forth there, and they don't drive on Snake River Avenue, they miss us entirely. They don't know we exist. You find
Hmm.
that quite a bit.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have people all the time, and we have some people that work with us right now, and they're like, we've been here X amount of time. I could have swore they known about us. Literally, and I teach this. This is old stats, like before social media got so big. It was like when
Mm-hmm.
it first started getting introduced, as popular as it is. 16 touch points before you can really grasp somebody's attention with marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true. It's probably double or triple that on social media now,
Oh yeah.
to
Yeah.
be honest. But that's true face to face as well. Um, so we had she came in and said that she handed a card and something to a physical therapist in town,
Mm-hmm.
who we've brought drinks to before.
Yeah.
They've drinking our drinks, but they didn't remember it,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, I did not even know it was there.
Oh man.
So we got to remember, like us in business, it's like everybody has an entire life going on.
Mm-hmm.
They're most likely overwhelmed with something. They most likely have some craziness going on in their life. So it's I remind the people that I work with, like, don't take it personally. It can never be too much. If it's too much, they're gonna say, like, look, what? Just stop bringing these.
Right.
Stop bringing your menu. Not interested.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just continue to get in front of people, because it's just like that. People pass by every day,
Mm-hmm.
and they're up in their minds and thinking about whatever.
Right.
So yeah, we find that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people don't also understand how easy driving is when you get perfect. It's just as easy as walking. You got halfway to work. You don't
Yeah.
know how you got there, kind of thing. So
Mhm.
they might not be looking at signage. They might not be thinking about anything except for their day or the stress,
Yes.
like what's for dinner. We didn't go grocery shopping this week, so we gotta sort that out.
That's right.
Like, all kinds of stuff.
We all have full lives. I know.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that we did in North Carolina is we had a shake outfit, and I would put that shake outfit on, and I would go stand on the road, and I'd be waving signs and all that stuff, because, and that's just one example, but I always tell people, when you go to market, be extraordinary. You got to give somebody a reason. They're probably not going to remember what you say. They're probably going to throw away what you give them, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
Right.
So if you're making it awkward, all they're going to be like, is that person is awkward? I probably don't ever want to see them again.
Yeah.
But I used to, another thing we call it is not really paying, like, not really marketing, but going out and handing out compliments, compliment them. Because people don't get complimented these days, really.
No.
So leave them with something positive, leave them with something memorable. And if it gets them in the door and creates a relationship, you never know. That could be your future kid's godfather, or
Right.
you have no idea who these people are until you get them in the door and really are able to spark up communication with them. So
Right. Hey, you don't know who you're gonna click with. You don't know who's gonna show up every day after that first time you talk to them. Yeah,
yep,
it's kind of a strange thing. A lot of people you end up doing business with end up being really good friends, and I mean that's how we talk to each other really in our adult life is work.
yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
yeah,
And it's kind of crazy when like when you deal directly with the public versus. I mean, I've had desk jobs before, and I got kind of poor at um, communicating one on one. And then after working at the brewery, I was like, oh man, I'm getting better at talking to people. I feel it differently, you know. So it's yeah. Do you find that working in face to face with your clientele kind of improved your communication skills quite a bit better, or
oh yeah, big time.
yeah,
I always tell people I'm a natural introvert, learned extrovert.
yeah,
I'm happy as can be sitting at the house reading a book. That's probably my happy place is just reading, hanging out on the deck or whatever. And but I know how important it is, and I'm heavily involved in a recovery community. I've been in recovery for 10 years. And through that, I've witnessed so many different types of people come in that you would never even imagine being in so much pain, And so I kind of put even a little bit more meaning to it. It's like you never know the difference you make in somebody's day when you do engage and focus on being more interested than interesting, like get really good at asking questions and listening,
right,
And I think that that's a big, big secret of communication. It's like everybody wants to be heard,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Not a lot of people are really.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and a lot of people think you have to have something great to say in order to have a conversation or that kind of stuff. It's kind of a thing people are kind of afraid of, getting out there to, talk to people or even go into a shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. Maybe today's environment is kind of um, geared towards, a little more isolation.
It is.
Yeah, especially after 2020 and
Yeah.
yeah,
We got to be careful, man. It's like all the there's so much media out there. There's so much negativity. There's so much really designed to make us scared. I'm not a conspiracy theorist necessarily, but I do know that a lot of things are designed to keep us in fear and kind of keep us in a certain place. I think it's vital to like listen to things like this. Really make sure we're feeding our brains correctly, because before you know it, you're the guy that doesn't want to go into a store, because you don't want to bump into this type of person that's going to make you feel this type of way. And you create this whole future scene that doesn't even exist,
right.
And what I have found is if I obsess on it enough, it's going to happen. I'm going to create it, so. Yeah.
My philosophy with all that is I always think 99.9% of people are good.
Yeah.
You're gonna have some bad interactions. You can't let it ruin your day or ruin your week and stuff like that. I mean, you're trusting people constantly. Like driving to work, you could swerve into the other lane. You're whether you like people or not, you're trusting them with your safety. I mean, you're sitting in your house. Your house could get ran into with a car, and craziness could happen at any moment. But people are generally good.
Yes, they are. I agree.
Yeah. So that's So if people want to stop by the shop, where are you at?
We are on Bryden Avenue in Southgate Plaza. We're the end cap where there's like a some sort of beer and tobacco place that had a drive-through window. We're in that space. We share a gravel parking lot with the UPS. Some people park in front. Some people park in the gravel parking lot. We are right now working on the drive-through window.
Oh, really?
We had to go through some approvals and get some things worked out. But we're in the last steps of that. So hopefully we'll have the window open soon. Highly recommend to check us out on social media. Blend on Bryden Avenue. We're on Instagram, Facebook. Those are the two that people can catch up with us. We have menus on there. And yeah, best place to find us.
Nice. Well, thank you very much. I hope people come check you out, and I hope kind of telling your story and getting to know you kind of helps business a little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you so
All
much for
right.
having us.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.